Hello,
Welcome
everyone.
to
Oh, go ahead.
Welcome to Oracle University, and thank you for joining today's live webcast. During this session, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of our presenters. At any time, you can send a comment through the chat function. Today's presentation is being recorded and will soon be available from Oracle University. And now, let's begin our presentation.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Samir Khosla, and once again, welcome to our quarterly Taleo Enterprise update on our investments and roadmap. A couple of points on, we've had great participation the last few quarters and hundreds of people asking many questions. So do want to reiterate, ask your questions in the Q&A panel. Second, please only ask your question once, even if you haven't received an answer right away. I know we have several questions, and a couple of my colleagues will be trying to answer them as much as possible during the cast, but even so, we always will try to take time afterward and answer as many questions as we can. The transcript of the questions is also posted to the Customer Connect post, so you can always check back afterward to see if your question was answered in the transcript of the Q&A. So, if you can hold your questions to just one instead of asking multiple times, that'll help us get to more questions as well. Thanks. So once again, this is Samir Khosla. We were excited to have you all join us today on Oracle Talent Acquisition Cloud, or Taleo Enterprise Product Investment Plans. Always, we need to start with a safe harbor statement, as this is future-looking and highlights general product direction. So here we go. We'll talk about the four things today: release model, investment plans, the recently delivered features, as many of you are looking to adopt, things that may have been delivered in recent releases that you haven't adopted yet, and then upcoming capabilities really focus on the 19D release that is targeted for mid-November. So we've talked about this in the last couple of quarterly updates. With the 19A release, which was the beginning of this year, we aligned the Taleo releases to our overall cloud products: HCM Cloud, ERP Cloud, CX Cloud, and so on. And the quarterly update cadence has been consistent across all of the products, which is in the middle of the calendar quarter. We do our quarterly updates. So, first one was 19A in February, 19B 3 months after that, and 19C 3 months after that, and so on. We do highly recommend that customers adopt each quarterly update, and I cannot stress this enough, really. Many customers I still see, being behind 2, 3, 4 updates. Not only is that, suboptimal from a functional standpoint. When you do take the update, you have a lot more functionality to test and absorb versus taking the updates on a more incremental basis. And second, you are losing out on something very important, which is all of the latest infrastructure, security, and other updates, bug fixes, and so on that are always part of every release. So overall investment plans, we talk a lot about the why we do some of the things we do, and here are the kinds of things that we hear from customers. Every quarter, I get a chance to talk with many of our customers, 2,000 plus Taleo Enterprise customers all around the world, and here are the challenges that I and others on my team hear from you all. The customers, your candidates that you're looking to attract, their expectations are changing. They're looking for, much more digital, mobile-ready, fast interactions. The challenges of finding quality candidates. Candidates aren't just coming to you and applying for opportunities. It's much more about nurturing those relationships over time and being able to find those candidates rather than have the candidates come to you. We hear a lot about internal processes being opportunities to streamline, opportunities to move faster so that you can have faster time to fill, and so on. And then reducing the complexity around integrations and point solutions. Those are all the themes that we have heard from you all over time, and they reflect on how we end up prioritizing our roadmap investments. For us, there are 3 big themes, and these have been consistent if you've seen these presentations modern recruiter experience, the most important initiative right now. Engaging and intelligent candidate experiences, so that's a big area of focus. And then we always have Idea Lab, where we try to pick off some of our customer-voted ideas and try to invest those into the roadmap. So on the first scale, we're talking about the modern experience for your recruiters and hiring managers, and we call that project Fluid Recruiting. And it's an incredibly important, impactful project. It's not just about doing what we do today in Flash, but it's actually about making the talent acquisition solution, which is already very feature-rich, by far the best experience in the market. A modern experience, a mobile-ready experience that reduces clicks, that dramatically improves the usability of the system, and really makes it very simple for hiring managers, for example, who are not frequent users of the system, to get what they need done. With Fluid, as many of you know, we've actually been on a journey where we've delivered a lot of functionality. At this point, we've covered all of the core hiring manager use cases. So if you have things that you typically would have hiring managers do in the system, it would be largely complete. And with 19D, you'll see a lot of features coming in, what we actually think of as core recruiter items, largely complete now with 19D. And then, over the course of the next 4 quarters, there are still many, many features that we call the extended use cases that will be coming into Fluid. And so that's our main strategy around Fluid, is to deliver as much as possible every single quarter, with the goal to finish by the end of 2020. With engaging and intelligent candidate experiences, we're doing many items that look at what your candidates do, and do them in new, interesting ways. We have been talking quite a lot about digital assistants, or our conversational experience that you can now deploy on top of your candidate experience. So on your career section or on your sourcing websites, you can deliver a very, very conversational experience, very modern, very engaging to your candidates. We'll continue to invest in enhancing that. We'll talk about the LinkedIn Recruiter System Connect integration, which is an integration for your backend users, as well as onboarding process search improvements for your backend users that become engaging and more intelligent ways to interact with the system. And the third theme has been Idea Lab, and top voted ideas will be things that we continue to deliver on, and we've delivered 300 plus ideas, many of them through the Fluid project. Ideas like, does the offer grid need to be so small? Well, yeah, we made that a big priority when we redesigned the offer grid for Fluid and gave you a much, much better experience. So many of our ideas through Idea Lab are actually delivered through our Fluid improvements. So with that as set up on overall investment strategy, let me cover some recently delivered features. So on this slide, and again, you can look at this offline when we post the deck and the recording. There is already a lot of capability in Fluid, and we have many hundreds of customers, and I'll talk about that, using all of these features, right? So when it comes to creating a requisition from a template, the most common way that requisitions get created, we've had that in Fluid for several quarters. Then we've had posting of requisitions. We now support all of the different key ways that you would post requisitions, whether it's to career sections or to job boards and so on. We have the ability to add and remove pre-screening competencies and questions from requisitions, adding collaborators to requisitions, adding the interview tab to requisitions, a lot of functionality around requisition management. We've started very early on with submission management, managing the candidates who've actually applied to a posting and being able to disposition those with changing step status, viewing their history, viewing things like referrals in more recent quarters, viewing things like screening results. So largely complete on things like submission management, largely complete even on things